Detroit, inside Ford Field, a stunned silence fell over the Chicago Bears on Thursday as players struggled to process yet another gut-wrenching defeat. Standing motionless on the turf, the Bears were in disbelief after their 23-20 loss to the Detroit Lions, a game that ended in baffling clock mismanagement. With 32 seconds left on the clock, down by 3 points, and positioned at the Lions' 41-yard line, the Bears seemed poised to set up kicker Cairo Santos for a game-tying field goal. Armed with one remaining timeout, they only managed to run one final play. Rookie quarterback Caleb Williams overthrew wide receiver Rome Odunze near the 3-yard line, and the clock hit 0 before the Bears could regroup. The loss marked Chicago's 6th consecutive defeat and their 4th time in this stretch, losing in confounding fashion at the game's end. From players to coaches and even executives watching from the press box, confusion was palpable. A locker room in shock. Wide receiver Keenan Allen captured the disbelief succinctly. "I saw the Lions walking on the field, and I thought, what are they doing? Then I looked up and realized the time had run out. It hit me. We still had a timeout left," Allen said, shaking his head. "What the F just happened?" tight end Cole Kmet asked himself in frustration. Even veteran wide receiver DJ Moore couldn't believe the sequence of events. "At first, I was like, what the hell? But really, it was more like, what the bleep?" he admitted. As players vented their frustration and attempted to untangle the chaos, team president Kevin Warren and chief administrative officer Ted Cruz observed silently, offering no immediate explanations. The blame game and miscommunication adding to the confusion was the apparent breakdown in communication. Some players, like Allen and left guard Tevin Jenkins, were unaware that the team still had a timeout in hand. Others, like Moore, expressed shock that head coach Matt Eberflus didn't use the timeout as the clock ticked down. Eberflus later explained that the plan had been to run a play to the middle of the field before calling a timeout to set up a manageable field goal attempt. However, the team took too long to get set, forcing Williams to improvise. The rookie quarterback opted for a deep shot to Odunze in the end zone instead, as time ran out. "You want the timeout called, but at the same time, it didn't happen," Moore said. "We just needed to execute better." A game marred by miscues. The Bears' struggles weren't confined to the final moments. They managed only 53 yards and 2 first downs in the first half, falling behind 16-0 by halftime. Despite a spirited comeback effort in the second half, execution issues plagued them throughout the game. Their final drive was emblematic of their struggles. A 4th and 4 attempt was nullified by offensive pass interference on Kmet, only for the Lions to gift them a second chance with a penalty of their own. Shortly after, Jenkins was flagged for illegal hands to the face, pushing the Bears back. Lions defensive lineman Zadarius Smith then delivered a critical sack, setting up a near-impossible 3rd and 26. The sequence culminated in Williams's desperate heave to Odunze, who couldn't reach the ball in time. Santos left watching. Cairo Santos, who was ready for the opportunity to tie the game, could only watch as the clock expired. "I felt great all day, and the operation had been smooth," Santos said, referencing his successful extra point attempts. "We rehearsed these scenarios, and I imagined myself taking that kick. But I didn't even get the chance." A pattern of painful losses. The loss to Detroit adds to a growing list of last-second heartbreakers for the Bears. Over the past month, they've endured a Hail Mary defeat to the Washington Commanders, a blocked field goal against the Green Bay Packers, and an overtime loss to the Minnesota Vikings. After a promising 4-2 start to the season, the Bears now sit at 4-8. "This is once-in-a-blue-moon type stuff," Moore lamented. "We keep giving ourselves chances to win, but then we just blow it." Looking ahead, while players were careful not to assign blame entirely to the coaching staff, questions linger about the clock management that sealed their fate. Kmet expressed hope that the team would analyze their mistakes and tighten their late-game operations ahead of their December 8 matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. Until then, the Bears will have to live with yet another game that slipped through their fingers. "It's tough," Allen said. "I feel like we did enough as players to win the game, but somehow, we let it get away."